What's going on, everybody? Everyone's having a fantastic evening, fantastic afternoon, fantastic pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the Hasanabi broadcast coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, California, folks. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and Emmys are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is the day. It's E-Day. It's D-Day. It's Election Day, folks. We are live. We are alive. And I hope everyone's having a fantastic one. No suit. I am wearing a suit. It's just a different type of suit than the one you would normally see me wear. Not a regular kind of suit. Anyway, folks, we're live. We're alive. And I hope everyone's having a fantastic one. This is part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news about what's going on in the world of Hasan. I'm a Piker in between the time period where I press the stop streaming button and press the start streaming button. For all of those who are unfamiliar, this is how we start the day. We're going to have a lot of people in here today. I think something big is happening. There's already like 40,000 people, and I just started the stream, so I'm gonna put my glasses on. I can't even see. Anyway, folks, all the long-term subscribers coming back into the chat, welcome back. I hope you're excited for an ad-free broadcasting experience the entire time. Cheers. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing obviously news coverage as well today, before we get to the poll watch, cock watch, hog watch, all of that good stuff. But personal news wise, last night I ended the broadcast, didn't really do too much after a incredibly long stream yesterday. We had like a 10-hour broadcast yesterday. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna chill out a little bit, and that's precisely what I did. I watched Dandaran, which was fantastic. For those of you who don't know. And then after that, I went to bed, woke up early, and I had my regular ass day. For those of you who don't know, I know it's a special day for a lot of people, especially for someone like myself, considering that this is, this is like my Super Bowl. I'm a political commentator. And, this is when a lot of people start tuning in directly when the election is happening. But here, started the morning with this. Started the morning with Kaya out there having fun with this big Rottweiler, little Jeb Bush action in between. Put my fucking... I voted by mail, as you guys know. I filled it in last night. And then played a little bit of basketball as well. You already know. Had to do it for the one time. Just a regular day for the most part, God damn, the hype train is going crazy. The subscriptions are going crazy. The view counts are going crazy. Anyway, but yeah, this is the fit for the day. You already know, okay? Voted illegally? Hell yeah, brother. Did I vote in Donald Trump? No, I did not. Why do you always wear knee straps? Because I'm an old man. Anyway, so that's personal news. That's it. There's not really much else to do other than that. In terms of personal news, like, not very eventful. My life is not very eventful. It's been leading up to this very moment, right? My life has been leading up to this exact moment for the past 4 years at this point, and excited to finally get there. Excited to see what the outcome is. It's D-Day, baby. How do the knee straps help? I got fucked knees. Knee straps are good for like holding your patellar. It's like an extra tendon brace, basically. But yeah. Pants I'm wearing are pretty crazy. Folks, Steve Kornacki is not wearing khakis. This is actually kind of devastating. This is kind of shocking. I don't know what to do with this. Breaking. Punxsutawney Phil of American Election, Steve Kornacki has appeared on Morning Joe wearing gray slacks, indicating a Republican win. Traditionally, if Steve appears in khakis, the election will swing for the Democratic candidates. Stay tuned for more updates. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fake news just like that. Just like what you just saw from Gremlo, friend of the show, Gremlo, with this fake news. Anyway, but yeah, let's blast off and let's get into it. I had a wonderful conversation, by the way. Shouts out to FaZe Banks. Wonderful conversation with him after he decided to blast off tweet for you. After he decided to... Okay, you're stupid, chatter, for fucking... We're not using this as a blast off meme, okay? Terraria, November 5th, All Day Gaming Tuesday. This is Misinformation Station. A lot of you are on the toxic gossip train. A lot of you are doing Misinformation Station shit, and I don't personally like it. You need to chill out. Give me a good blast off meme. Let's do it. Okay, this is a big one. This is the biggest one. I might even do like a like an outfit change in between, like Amaranth. You know what I'm saying? Like I might pull an Amaranth and be like outfit change incoming, and like in between, and then come back with something a little sexier than what I'm wearing right now. Why are you so high definition right now? Either I've been on shit screens because your camera quality is crisp. Yeah, we fixed it. We fixed it up. We fixed it up. We did it. Okay. Let's do it. Let's blast off and let's get it right into it. I mean, can I wake up? It's election day. No, she's sleeping. She doesn't give a fuck. She was with me when I went to vote. She voted too. She voted illegally. I voted for 2. Yeah, that's right. I voted for my daughter. Okay. I voted for my daughter. JD Vance told me that you should be able to vote for multiple people if you have a child. And as you guys know, I have a child. Do you think a lot of people will order a lot of pizzas for delivery today? I'm a pizza delivery guy, and right now it's slow, but I want to know your projection. Yes. That's a very funny question, but yeah, for sure. Later in the night, I think when people start like watching and tuning in, because right now we got all the freaking losers in here, okay? Losers like you and losers like me. People who care about this stuff that have been, you know, following this literally nonstop for every single day for the past 4 years. All the people that are going to be like, what? The election is happening? Let me just check in with my favorite commentator, Hasanabi Piker. That's going to come in later in the night. That's going to come in like in, you know, in the afternoon, late into the afternoon. So, I figured out my best reason for voting for Kamala with the genocide in Gaza. I don't want the Dems to be able to historically wash their hands of this. No Trump getting elected and making it worse is a stand, and the Dems have to own for the rest of their existence. Okay. I heard different about Kaya's vote. This is fake news. Once again, this is election misinformation. I'm going to be issuing a context note on this one. Okay. Level 11 hype train. Y'all are out of control today. Holy shit. All right. The first results came in, already split 3-3. Yeah. We're going to do all that. Update on the concubine guy.
So apparently some stuff on social media had come up because I made a comment about Harry Sisson, who might be the most beta male on the planet. He and 3 or 4 of his cunty little friends got together and they put out a thing that said, real men vote for Harris.
Who the trap lord? Dude, this is crazy. Okay. I can't believe this man is like quintupling down. I've never seen something like this before in my entire damn life. This is the guy who claimed he killed bin Laden. Like, there's nothing crazy. I cannot comprehend how you behave like this. I don't know how you feel confident enough to behave like this. It just don't, it makes no dang sense, man. It makes no dang sense. He also follows me. Yeah, I don't know why. Robert J. O'Neill, Mick Huya, a moot of mine, a Twitter moot. He's been a follower of the Hasanabi broadcasting and perpetuity in quite some time. So I don't know why he has done that. Maybe he wants to eat me and have sex with me as well. Seemingly, he has come out on Twitter as a gay man, a gay cannibal, a gay rapist cannibal, which is really weird. It's a really weird thing to just openly admit for no fucking particular reason. I don't really understand why any dang person would be doing the dang thing, but he's done did it. Eat your ass, Alex Jones. Yeah, that type of shit. But yeah, this man who was part of SEAL Team 6 his claim to fame is shooting Osama bin Laden, and many of the other SEAL Team people have said that, they've called into question whether that's real or not, was saying he's going to eat and also rape these young boys for the crime of being pro-Democratic Party, I think. He said, we're Gen Z voters and we're all proudly voting for Kamala Harris. Real men support Harris. That's what they said. You got all my favorite debate guys in here. You got Harry Sisson, and then you have this fucking weirdo freak being like, you're not men, you're boys. If there was no social media, you would be my concubines. Oh, Puddin, you're so sweet. That's what he said. First time I've ever seen someone quintuple down on telling everyone that they want to sexually assault young boys. Yeah. I don't know what's happening with this guy, but there's a real crisis. Within the conservative movement, I think, lately. And that crisis is almost entirely born out of the reality that they've bought Twitter, and they're just like, their brain is getting perma-fried. Like on Facebook, their brains were being fried already, but that was kept in a containment zone. People under the age of 78 were not getting their news and information from there. You were not interacting with them, right? That was like the containment zone for everybody. And then Elon Musk bought Twitter and then turned Twitter into 4chan, which is like Facebook, but also more Nazi focused. It's like, if your special interest is being a white nationalist nerd, then, Twitter is the platform for you now. And I think that has created this weird feedback loop for a lot of these Republicans who personally think like, yeah, no, this shit bangs. Like I got 20,000 likes when I said I'm going to sexually assault these young men. So I think other people agree with me, and it causes people to lose track of their humanity. It causes people to lose track of what they consider to be like normal behavior, because in the real world, if this man were to say such a thing to people, he would go to jail. Like literally, he would be like, imagine if he walked up to a bunch of young boys who had just voted for Kamala Harris, and he was like, I'm going to have sexual intercourse forcibly with you and then eat you potentially and turn you into a concubine. You would call the authorities, and then he'd probably have like a very crazy suicide by cop style situation, I assume, because he's definitely not mentally well. But like, it would be handled differently in the real world is my point, right? Like, I don't think this person does stuff like this in the real world. And if he does stuff like this in the real world, there's probably some repercussions for it, whether legal or some sort of repercussion, right? At the very least, people would probably look at him and go, you're gross. You're a gross person. But this is a broader conversation about the internet. This is a broader conversation about our little hug boxes, our echo chambers that we have cultivated online. And I guess what I'm trying to say is today is a day where we shall see whose echo chamber was right. Because as fans of the show who have been paying attention, tuning in and out closely, as friends of the show that are, watching, might have paid attention. I personally believe that despite my criticisms, despite my anger, dare I say resentment of the Democratic Party, I have said that Kamala Harris is most likely slated to win the election today. Now, if you were to talk to your friends, your peers, especially considering that this is a under 35, heavily male-dominated space, you would get a very different attitude. And that's because a lot of people who are online, or a lot of people who are communicating exclusively with one another online, or even people in our age demographic, are, I think, more openly in the tank for Trump than anybody else, right? So that's something that you got to remember. So I think that our own personal involvement in these spaces where people are more likely to be Trump supporters kind of clouds our judgment. This is something that I try to evade every single day, right? I try to look at polls for this reason, and I try to develop a better understanding of what the broader electorate is looking at, right? What they are thinking about, what their anger and resentment and frustration revolves around. So we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, let's take a look.
So apparently some stuff on social media had come up because I made a comment about Harry Sisson, who might be the most beta male on the planet. He and 3 or 4 of his cunty little friends got together and they put out a thing that said, real men vote for Harris. I noticed their ages too, and I responded that you're not men, you're boys, and you're my concubines in the real world. And what I meant with that is, yeah, you would be. You don't know how to fight, you've never learned how to fight, and I basically will do whatever I want with you. So that's all I meant. Wasn't trying to insult anybody or whatever, but trust me, guys like Harry Sisson couldn't do a goddamn thing. They'd be running for guys like me to save them. So basically, saying concubine.
Harris wins the popular vote. Electoral College sides with Trump, though. That's my hard read if things go bad. There's no reason Trump would win the popular vote. I disagree with you. There is a likelihood that Trump wins the popular vote but loses the Electoral College. That is a likelihood. It's all about turnout in this election. It seems might favor, at least if you look at past performance, if you look at like the polling, in terms of low propensity and mid propensity voters who are notoriously more difficult to track down, they say Donald Trump. They say Donald Trump by pretty fucking wide margins. So for that reason, this is a very unique situation. Anyway, going back to this, I like that he's doubling down about his like sexual assault threat and saying like, nah, you don't understand. Like, like I simply meant to assault you because you are beta.
Damn thing. They'd be running for guys like me to save them. So basically, saying concubine means a slave, and Sisson is apparently French for fucking cunt.
Bro, you are like 60 years old, man. You're 60 years old. You lived a whole life. You are like multiple divorce champion over here beefing with a child. Okay? And also like physically threatening this kid. Like, the fuck is wrong with you? You know, I'll tell you this much. There's a new crop of TikTok debaters out there. Some of them I agree with and I really like and I cherish. Some of them I might not agree with all the time, but it doesn't really matter because I'm not a fucking psychopath who goes, oh, I disagree with you, so I'm going to eat you, okay? I don't understand what causes someone to just be like, I disagree with you and I'm going to keep it at that, you know? Or I disagree with you and I'm just simply going to say why I disagree with you. We can never do that anymore, okay? God forbid, everything fucking turns into politics and one side of the political spectrum literally will just go, I'm going to send a mail bomb to your house. That's where we're at. That is now officially where we're at. Back in the day, 10 years ago, if you were like a progressive, socialist, leftist, online content creator, no matter how small or how big you were, okay, let's say maybe you potentially worked at the Young Turks, you would get a lot of death threats, right? You would get a lot of death threats. That was like, you get doxxed, you get a lot of death threats. Now, I feel like the 4chanification of political discourse has finally run its course. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to be like a TYT content creator or some shit to be able to get the ire of the Republican psychopaths. And it's no longer relegated to like anonymous online forums. Now, the average Republican is operating like this. And it's very weird. Very fucking weird that is now the new norm. You're like, Donald Trump's going to be like, hey, guess what, dude? Springfield, Ohio, those Haitians, they're eating cats and dogs. Insanely racist sentiment. No evidence whatsoever for this. All of a sudden, boom, bomb threats, okay? Matt Walsh decides like the Boston Children's Hospital is actually doing, it's transing the children. No evidence for this whatsoever. He just lied. Doesn't matter. Boom, bomb threats. We got to shut down the hospital for the week. And I don't know where we go from here. And I don't also know what we do with half the country basically hallucinating an alternative reality where they legitimately think, for example, illegal immigrants are being shipped specifically to fucking swing states so they can vote illegally for the Democratic Party. This right here is insane. This is made up. Like, that's a made up thing. You just made that shit up. And now people believe you. Why am I saying this? Well, it goes back to the conversation I was having with FaZe Banks last night. Okay? FaZe Banks and myself had a conversation after he, said he's voting for Donald Trump. He's endorsing Donald Trump, whatever, bold, brave, bold, and dare I say, a little bit scary. I will admit, a little bit scary. And I'll tell you exactly why in a second. But part of the reason why he fucking said that is because he watched a Joe Rogan interview with Elon Musk. And in this interview, Joe Rogan and Elon Musk were having a conversation in which Elon Musk just straight up fucking lied. Now, I feel like that used to mean something, right? Like, hey man, why are you lying was a thing that you could just say to the other side, right, of the political spectrum. And then people would basically respond to that and be like, wait a minute, he's lying? Let me investigate. Now it's like, it don't matter. You could just fucking lie, okay? And there is no interest in addressing the truth whatsoever. Remember the alternative fact shit that happened under Donald Trump's leadership last time? We are now living in the aftermath of that, where no, there is literally just like two separate realities. There are two alternate realities, and half the country is hallucinating that alternate reality, and the other half of the country also has their own form of delusion, but it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know where we go from here. This is something that I've been genuinely worried about. It's something that I've been genuinely thinking about. It's very, very frustrating. This is it. This is literally like
the Dems won the selection.
This is what I saw this morning, and it fucked me up, dude. It really, really fucked me up. Like, I'm telling you guys, Kamala Harris wins, Donald Trump wins. It kind of doesn't matter. Like, this needs to be addressed. Like, this right here, this shit, regardless of who wins today, we got to fucking fix this problem. And I don't know how we're going to do that. Like, obviously, if Trump wins, it's going to be even worse. Considering that, like, we got here to this degree of, like, people openly feeling comfortable lying about such horrific shit that is incredibly consequential as a direct consequence of Donald Trump winning the election last time around. But this is crazy. Okay, listen to this combo. And I know this is like impacting people's brains. This is the type of shit that people respond to, including but not limited to FaZe Banks, Brother Banks himself.
If the Dems win this election, they will legalize enough illegals to turn the swing states, and everywhere will be like California. There will be no escape.
That is so insane.
This is the final. This is it. This is the last chance.
Has anybody tried to push back?
Like, go out and vote. Vote like your life depends on it. Vote like your future depends on it, because it does.
Yeah.
This is the last chance, man.
Oh. Trying to talk to just somebody on the street about politics now, because everyone either believes hurricanes are made by Democrats or that we are shipping in immigrants to vote, and also have secret Chinese police everywhere. Yeah. Like, a lot of this stuff used to be laughed at, man. What the fuck happened? This was like, haha, QAnon, right? Now every political format, every political ideology has its own fucking version of QAnon. Every single one. Now, obviously, I'm not going to fucking do a false equivocation here, okay? I'm not going to say that, like, Democrats or the Democratic media in general lying by omission by refusing to cover how fucking brain dead Joe Biden was in perpetuity is at the same level or at the same severity as, like, you know, Democrats are doing a weather machine. Like, that's not, those two things are not on the same fucking playing field, right? Or the great replacement is happening because the Democrats are bringing in migrants all across the country deliberately to change the demographic makeup of the country so that they can, I guess, win fucking elections. I don't know. Seems like there's not, seems like you're placing a lot of emphasis on winning or losing elections. It's like Democrats won the last election and Republicans still got their way. So I don't even think they give a shit all that much about winning elections. Like, what's this incredibly consequential thing for the Democrats? Like, they're doing this mass migration pattern, this massive conspiracy, also they can fucking what, win an election? What are you, stupid? What happened to the real world isn't like the internet? I mean, the real world isn't like the internet yet, but you do also have to understand, as we become increasingly more alienated, as we become increasingly more isolated, as our only reach to the outside world comes from the internet, this is going to be more and more impactful for people. This is something that's really important for you to comprehend. This is why I say, like, people like myself and others who are in the online sphere that are doing political commentary are going to be significantly more consequential. Yes, I saw the NBC article, my friend. Please stop fucking spamming it over and over again. We covered it yesterday. It's again, the NBC article correctly points out that a lot of people are cynically considering any kind of like anti-Israel, anti-Zionist commentary with anti-Semitism, and that's it. I feel like you just only saw the fucking the headline, didn't read the article at all, and just like moved on, which is fine. Anyway, it is what it is. All right. Musk said he invited people to rebuke him and show him where he's wrong. Can you do that with evidence? Yes, I absolutely can do that with evidence. I don't think Elon Musk would ever in a fucking million years talk to me, though. Are you out of your mind? Like, that's craziness. Elon, of course, sharing Nazi shit. In the lead up to the election. Elon Musk just shared a QAnon video which rails against globalists who have plundered the country, basically an openly anti-Semitic tirade. The world it shows as the utopia it envisions is white only. And the people who made the video say they follow the light of Aryans. Yeah, that's really cool, man. National revival. Follow the light of the Aryans, true patriot, imperial minister of propaganda. That's an Iranian Shah. That is an Iranian Shah supporter account that is like a fucking white nationalist as well. Very cool. Anyway, 2:30 Eastern, election turnout so far. Cities are popping. Philly setting records. Pittsburgh past 2020 numbers. Detroit past 2020. Vegas and Phoenix. Republican numbers in the dumpster compared to 2020 and 2022. Georgia and North Carolina have no real reporting, so black box there. Tentative vibes are PA and Michigan are D. Wisconsin is unknown. Arizona, Nevada depends on Indies breaking. Thank you, Libdejder, for the update. We are going to have a lot of updates throughout the day. But happy election day. I am an EU chatter. When will we know the results? We're not going to know the results until polls close. And even after polls close, we're not going to know the results for quite some time because the way this works is there are states, specifically Pennsylvania, that have an incredibly fucked way of tabulating results and calculating mail-in voters and early votes in general. And it is a deeply frustrating process that is deliberately not streamlined. It's very annoying. It's very frustrating. So it depends. If it's super close, then no news outlet is going to make projections. Even if some news outlets make a projection, you're going to have to remember it depends on Fox News. Or maybe it might not even depend on Fox News anymore, because I don't personally know how much the Republican base even trusts Fox News after last election cycle's consequential Fox News projection for Arizona. So we have a lot of issues ahead of ourselves. I don't even know if people recognize that. I've been trying to kind of gear you up for this a little bit in terms of I covered the Brooks Brothers riot yesterday extensively to try to give you a little feel for what like the Republicans might try to pull out as a last ditch effort. You know what I mean? In multiple states potentially. So there is a lot of there are a lot of terrifying things that could potentially happen in terms of the unrest. I just don't think that this is going to be a no unrest, perfectly fucking chill election cycle because of some of the things that I just mentioned, as a matter of fact. Some of the things that I just mentioned in terms of like how people just don't understand or care about the fucking reality anymore, right? Like these are problems. These are going to be real issues. I have listened, I would say, to tens of thousands of Republicans at this point. And I see the polls. I track this stuff closely, and the overwhelming majority of Republicans routinely say, if Donald Trump loses tonight, the election is stolen. That is a legitimate thing that people believe. And I'm sure if you actually fucking talk to Republicans in your life, if you know any hogs, depending on the level of hogdom that they're at, they probably will repeat that position to you as well. It's not good. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to say other than how the fuck do we deal with this? It seems to me like this is not a good prospect. We are staring down the barrel of unrest, and the situation is not looking too good. So my Republican dad from PA called me today ready to take up arms because the voting machines were down in their county. It's already starting. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like you see even a little bit of fucking weirdness happening, and things happen. You know, this is a massive thing. We have 330 million people in this country. Hundreds of millions of people have been voting and will vote today. Obviously, there's going to be some issues here and there. Otherwise, I think that I would say that like the American electoral system is pretty fucking straightforward. Well, very confusing, like the tabulation, the way that the results come out and stuff, and the electoral college. But like the election integrity is pretty straightforward. These are safe and secure elections, some of the safest and most secure elections on the planet. And I say this as someone who rails against the United States of America on a number of different issues, but this is one of the things that is pretty fucking good. There's obviously some problems in terms of like not streamlining this process and whatnot, but as far as like safety and security, it's pretty good. So in spite of all of that, there are still going to be some complications, some issues, maybe a pipe burst in a area where they're like counting votes or whatever, and Republicans immediately will go, oh, that's the machinations of a conspiracy from the pedophilic Democrats, because they have only one fucking speed at this point. They have one speed. And it's just, oh, things are not going the way I thought they would be going. There must be some grand conspiracy. It can't simply be that, maybe people are annoyed. Maybe people are annoyed with the way that the modern Republican Party presents itself, especially under the leadership of Donald Trump. That could be a reason. Maybe people are still frustrated for half of the population having their fucking liberties removed, that they can't just get this medical procedure now because some dipshit decided, a bunch of dipshits in robes decided, yeah, we don't want women to be able to get that in states that want to deny that. I'm talking about abortion, of course. Like that's a very frustrating issue, right? So I think you know, a lot of people have no way of analyzing this with an open mind. I say this as someone who recognizes that this is the most popular Donald Trump has ever been at this point in the race in the last 3 races. Okay. There's a likelihood that Donald Trump could win today. I still, like I've said, slightly favor Kamala Harris winning with the blue wall staying strong. But having said that, I do still believe that there is a chance. There is certainly a chance that things could turn out differently. It's real. Have you seen the comparison of MAGAs acting out as extinction bursts? I don't know what that is. I think the average American also, I mean, this is, maybe we do have some average Americans that are tuning in today, but like normal people don't even know how the fucking electoral college works. Like I'm actually always shocked whenever I talk to someone that I know that is just like completely confused. You know, people will be like, oh, can I vote tomorrow? You know, that's a real thing. Like these are very intelligent people who just simply don't know. They have not paid attention. They don't care. They don't know, and they don't understand. You know, these are real conversations that I've had. So you have to remember that. You have to recognize that I think a lot of people are just like kind of oblivious, not knowledgeable on the situation at all, and you know, and hope for the best, I guess. Anyway, let's take a look at Harris's final pitch to voters across Pennsylvania.
Correspondent Mary Bruce starts us off. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, we made it. The big day after months of campaigning and crisscrossing the country. It all leads to this very moment. After the shortest presidential campaign in modern American history, Vice President Kamala Harris is now sprinting across the finish line, closing out her historic candidacy with a message of unity and optimism, promising to be a president for all Americans. Just over 100 days since Kamala Harris was catapulted to the top of the Democratic ticket, the big day now finally here.
Philadelphia, you ready to do this?
Harris closing out her campaign in Pennsylvania, the state most likely to determine this race, with a call for unity.
And we will win because when you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for. And we have an opportunity in this election to finally turn the page on a decade of politics that has been driven by fear and division. We are done with that. We're done. We're exhausted with it.
Overnight, speaking at the base of the famous Rocky Steps in Philadelphia before a crowd of 30,000, Harris with a star-studded finale to her whirlwind campaign.
It's good to be back in the city of brotherly love, where the foundation of our democracy was forged. And here at these famous steps, a tribute to those who start as the underdog and climb to victory.
Harris ending her campaign on a positive note in the final day, not mentioning Donald Trump by name.
My entire career has been driven by a singular purpose: to fight on behalf of the people. On behalf of the people. And it is my pledge to you that if you give me a chance to fight on your behalf as president, there is nothing in the world that will stand in my way.
The vice president focused on her key issues, promising to lower the cost of groceries and health care, to make housing more affordable, and to protect reproductive rights.
Where's your I voted sticker? Where's your I voted sticker? You think I didn't vote? Like, I don't understand. Like, Bro, I'm not kidding. That chatter is the perfect demonstration of how so many people view this format. Okay? It makes sense. It makes sense why so many people will come in here and be and act like I am saying the exact opposite thing that I'm currently in the process of saying. This is why I always say when people are like, Hasan, why don't you change the title to reflect like what is going on in the stream? And it's like, there is literally no reason to do that because people don't know how to read, okay? Americans at this point are illiterate. Straight up. That's it. They're not looking at what is directly in front of them and instead envisioning an alternate reality. That's where we're at nowadays.
We are not going back.
How did it make you feel that FaZe Bank said he watches your commentary yet still voted for Trump? I don't think he watches my commentary that much. I'm going to be honest with you. He also said he watches Charlie Kirk. So,
because ours is a fight for the future and ours is a fight for freedom, including the most fundamental freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do.
I'm not kidding, folks, when I say this. This type of stuff used to only happen if you were like in the crosshairs of neo-Nazis online. People who just like to troll for fun, right? Like there are entire communities of people that engage with this sort of stuff for people that they despise online, right? Like there are a lot of neck-bearded losers that do stuff like this, send bomb threats, swat people, dox people that they hate, clip whatever the fuck they're saying out of context over and over again to try to build resentment towards that person. I don't know where I'm coming from with this. You might have maybe seen it here and there. Nowadays, this is the entirety of the Republican Party's structure. This is just how, like, it has become universalized in the modern conservative movement. They don't like something, immediately they call the manager, okay? They don't like something, they're like, yep, time to call in a bomb threat. I can see this. They're saying that this is also potentially like Russian interference, non-credible bomb threats originating. This is former special counsel of the Department of Defense, originating from Russia in Fulton County. There are literally American citizens that have been arrested for this, by the way, just so you know. Like this individual one could potentially come from Russia, but the Republican Party has already been arrested for, one, brandishing a machete at a polling station. There was a dude that was arrested for that. There was another guy who shot at the Kamala Harris campaign office in Arizona. Okay? There are so many instances of like people just utilizing bomb threats and swattings and whatnot to deal with their political opponents, like willy-nilly, which is a crime, by the way. It is a federal crime to do that. But until we figure out how to deal with this shit, like this quote unquote trolling, which is now no longer relegated to the online anonymous forums, but instead like average conservatives are engaging with this as well, which, I guess is another word for terrorism. Until we figure out how to fucking deal with this shit, like I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know where we're gonna go from here. I'm not American. I don't usually watch Hassan, but I'd like to know who he is supporting. Sorry for spamming, but can you please explain what your point of voting for Kamala in non-swing states for pro-Palestine leftists? What? Dude, it's the day of the election. I'm sorry. Like, move on, okay? Move on from this. I don't know. Like, I have spent the last year talking about this issue. I don't know. If you haven't heard my perspective at this point, on election day, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Go with your heart. Just don't vote for Donald Trump, okay? It's fucking ridiculous. There's another aspect of this, which Republican projection, lawfare, right? Lawfare is something that Donald Trump has consistently claims is happening to him. He's like, lawfare, you're using the law against me. You're using the law against me. This is what he kept fucking saying, right? This is what Big Dog kept saying over and over again. Except they're doing that. They're doing that for the election results. They're trying to use, they are trying to use their lawyers, their team of lawyers to the best of their ability to disrupt the process as best as they possibly can. You got, you have Donald Trump openly admitting that elections are won by who has the best lawyers, right? It's a devastating situation as well, and I don't know if the Democratic Party is ready, is willing, is able to combat this shit. I hope so. I hope they are. You also have. I was supposed to have Jacob on the broadcast, but I couldn't because he had to go back home. But to talk about his immigration documentary. Anyway, let's take a look at this.
What's going on here?
Continue.
Andrea, you know this better than anyone. There's 1,703 different election divisions in the city of Philadelphia, which is also the county of Philadelphia. They're the same election jurisdiction, 700 different polling places. These young people, how long you guys been online for? About an hour and a half? Is that right? How you holding up, okay?
I'm aching.
You're aching. I don't blame you. First time voting?
Yeah.
Congratulations. Guys, have a great time. You're going to get to the thing right in just 1 second. I want to show you how long this line is, everybody.
Okay,
so
there's not a single Trump supporter in this line, bro. I'm the hog whisperer, and I'm telling... Okay, maybe one.
1 million registered voters here, but they've only gotten about approaching 200,000. Guys, this isn't even close to the end of the line. Everybody doing okay? Okay, good. They have only 200,000 or so have come back. It's a great point, Andrea. They've only got 7 different voting machines inside this facility here right now. There's 500,000 people who have not been able to cast their ballots yet in Philadelphia. When I say they haven't been able to cast their ballots yet, sorry guys,
the qualities of 5.
I just mean there's 500,000 people who decide to vote in person today. Many of them are young people. One of the things that I heard, this is again, unbelievable, right? I'm not even close, Andrea. What? I'm around in the corner here, but if you look down the street here, we got...
Damn, bro, people love voting. Holy shit.
It keeps going and going.
People fucking love voting, dude. Oh my God. Holy moly.
Rights leader during the 60s.
Most of them look like third-party voters or one of those jokers who make selfies about their ruined ballot.
To make their way to the polls. And ultimately, Kamala Harris wants this more than anybody to drive out turnout in these metropolitan areas here in the city and county of Philadelphia to counteract what's going on. Unbelievable.
This is why I'm bullish on Kamala and PA.
In the rural areas of the state.
What is happening?
Guys,
what's the weather
everybody
there,
doing okay
Jacob?
here? Everybody,
is it warm? Do they need water?
It's like summer, Andrea. It is a very, very pleasant day.
I went at 8 this morning in West Philly and only waited 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky. In Los Angeles, you can just drop a mail-in ballot at your local drop-off point. It's pretty good. Telling you are underestimating how much people are sick of Trump.
Are these Temple University students?
Are you a Temple University student?
Yes, sir. Yep. I'm a junior at Temple. Yep.
Is this your first time voting?
Yep.
So this line, does it seem daunting to you?
No, it's about what I expected for election day. Obviously a lot of students coming out, people around the community, so it's about what I expected at this point.
What's bringing you out to vote today? What's your main issue here?
Obviously, we all have our own right to vote. We need to make sure we vote on our own specific issues. So, I think it's really important to take charge at our age, make sure that we're making an impact in our communities and also across the nation.
Young people are the largest potential voting. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Nice to meet Chris.
Chris, largest potential voting demographic in the country. And it really is. I mean, it's both very uplifting and inspiring to see people here.
What would you do if Kamala wins Texas or Florida? No. I don't see that at all, but I mean, that would be fucking insane. There was a long line for one district booth, but when I went to vote in my district booth, I was the only one there. Would you show ass? I'll do a fucking nude photo shoot, like a tasteful one. no dick, no penis. If Kamala Harris wins Texas or Florida, which is incredibly unlikely, I will literally do a tasteful, no penis showing, but like a tasteful nude photo shoot, okay? I'm not showing dick, but I'll do it. No, that doesn't mean just balls. Y'all are crazy.
Youth turn out, and I just hope as many youths as possible turn out this like upcoming. Well, this is today.
Can I tell you something? I think you've done a good job if that's your goal. The big question is, what's it going to look like here when we get to 8 o'clock p.m. here and the polls close? Every last person that's in line and on this line at that time.
If Kamala Harris secures the Senate for the Democratic Party, which is also very unlikely, and I'm including the independent candidate in this calculation as well. Fuck it, to make matters even more, to make matters swing in, against me even further. Okay. Also, same principle applies. I don't think it's going to happen. I do think, are you as fearful now as you were yesterday? I mean, I am. A couple things that I'm annoyed by was low propensity voters that I talked to in California. I mean, it's like, obviously I'm sampling on my own, so this is not like real. This is not a real analytical process, but like seeing them after weeks on end saying that they were not going to go and vote, coming out and being like, oh, I'm voting actually for Donald Trump, actually was not great. The other thing is that, and I've talked about this already, like there is no shy Trump voter any longer. And guys like FaZe Banks, who in my estimation are perfect representations of like the low propensity voter who would consider himself like an independent, going out and like openly endorsing Donald Trump, which means that there is no more stigma associated with, in the minds of a lot of people, the original stigma associated with like being pro-Trump in 2020 is gone. People simply don't see it that way. People just basically look at it as like, well, Donald Trump was president already. Like they're not, like there is no more negative associations with Donald Trump. Like the danger that he presents for America's future is something that a lot of people do not foresee. And that is not a good prospect. That's not a good thing. You can't be thinking of Donald Trump as a normal guy, as a normal candidate. You can't be thinking of any fucking Republican as a normal guy, as a normal candidate. But like you especially cannot fucking see Donald Trump as a normal guy when he's like running around saying Haitians are eating cats and dogs, running around saying undocumented migrants are fucking killing hundreds of thousands of Americans. Like his rhetoric has amped up. It has gotten significantly more violent, significantly more dangerous. This election cycle, his policies have gotten worse. He's talking about mass concentration camps. He's talking about mass deportation. This is very alarming. Like people feeling comfortable and openly stating their desire to vote for Donald Trump, especially in areas in our industry, for example, where people are like more aware, more risk averse, don't want to be fucking disruptive, want to be brand friendly. Like those people coming out and saying like, nah, I fucking love Donald Trump and his mass deportation policies probably are good. I don't know. I'm not really paying attention. Like that is terrifying. Okay. I consider that to be really dire for the future of America. All reporting at Philly is that it's an insane turnout. Lib Deshder. There are 2 Puerto Rico precincts that passed their entire 2020 total at 11 a.m. The Youth Center, University Park, passed their entire 2020 total at 11:30 a.m. And the time, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., are supposed to be even higher after work hours. She won't win Florida, by the way. Give it up. I never said she will win Florida. I didn't even say she's going to win Texas. I do want Allred to defeat Ted Cruz in Texas. Obviously. But I don't know if it's likely. Yes, I think that her chances of, like the Democratic Party's chances of securing the Senate are fairly low. Montana's not looking good. Texas is probably going to be overperforming. Like Texas probably outperform expectations and still lose to Ted Cruz, and then I'm just gonna fucking perish at that point. I'm gonna evaporate. Texans will still go out and be like, yeah, I love that ugly fucking freak Ted Cruz. I will vote for him every single time. It's the same principle that exists in a place like Kentucky where they go around and they're like, I don't give a shit. I'm voting for Mitch McConnell. He has done nothing for me. He is a disgusting little monster. He is openly antagonistic to my worldview. He's openly antagonistic to everything I believe in as a Kentuckian, and I'm still voting for him. That is usually how this goes. And it's very fucking frustrating, okay? It is very, very frustrating that people do not make those personal associations that they do when it's the gubernatorial election with their fucking Senate seats, okay? With their senatorial runs. I am very frustrated by this, okay? How is Mitch McConnell still alive? He's not. I mean, he's in a fucking vacuum. Pennsylvania Puerto Ricans are coming out in massive numbers, as we said. Potentially big development if the Philly turnout tracker is accurate. Puerto Rican turnout, which is traditionally very low, may already be reaching 2020 level turnout at 11:30 a.m. Is the hype real? I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of stuff that we are going to get wrong early on, okay? Do not look at early markers. Do not look at early indicators until the votes are starting to be counted, okay? I'm telling you right now, I've been doing this. It's not my first election cycle. Don't hyper focus on this sort of stuff, even though it does feel good to think about how a third-rate comic from Joe Rogan's orbit might have tanked Donald Trump's chances in the state of Pennsylvania. I did say that after the Madison Square Garden, and everyone was like, what do you mean, Hasan? I don't understand. Like, Puerto Ricans, like, you think they're going to be that upset? And it's like, yeah, no, they will be. Every Puerto Rican, regardless of their fucking ideological background, down to like the most right-wing guy, still loves Puerto Rico and understands that Puerto Rico is a beautiful place that America has fucking destroyed. And if you say Puerto Rico is a trash island, they're going to come correct you. Yeah. It's insane why the Philly polls are this long. It's 8 things: president, treasurer, auditor, attorney general, and senator. The other 3 are in PA1, PA2, and PA3, mostly unopposed. What is the poll? Who do you want to vote for? New poll out. It's almost done in the chat. 92% Kamala Harris. 8% Donald Trump. Are you going to talk about the California propositions? Some big ones are on the ballot. My friend, I did like a 2-hour broadcast specifically on not only the propositions, but also which way I'm voting, including controversial ones, including confusing ones. I already did all that. Like, that's what I've... I did that last night. Anyway, all right. We got NBC coverage.
That isn't actually true, like those videos.
And Tom, as you scan the country right now, what other potential threats are law enforcement officials monitoring?
Well, it's a whole host of things, and really there's been a lot of political violence this year. I mean, as we all well know, the 2 attempts on Donald Trump, but there's been a lot of political violence that we've seen around the globe. We've seen it in both hemispheres. We've seen it in Europe. We've seen it in Africa. So I think the big question here is, as we move forward, is what can we expect in the next 24 hours? And I think...
I'll tell you this much. I'm in a pretty fucking blue area, all right? One of the bluest areas in the entire damn nation. And there were fucking cops everywhere, even around our polling stations, okay? I have voted in every election, midterms, primaries, generals, And I have never seen this much police activity around the polls before. I don't know what that means. I don't know why it's like that. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But it is a unique predicament. No cops when I voted here in Nebraska. Multiple reporters from major outlets have been denied credentials to tonight's Trump campaign election night watch event in Florida, and it's because of their coverage. That's hilarious. He's such a petty little fucking tyrant, dude. This is my girlfriend's first stream watching you. I'm really nervous, but excited out results. Also here in Texas, and my decision has been influenced by the prospect of a Hasan tasteful shoot. Yeah. Fear not. I live in Nowhere, Iowa, and a cop pulled into our voting church at 7:30 a.m. No cops when I voted in rural Maine. Maybe it's a big city thing. I don't know. Or maybe it's the gosh darn Democrats that the Dummycrats that put the cops at polling stations to stop patriotic Americans from exercising their right to firebomb one of the fucking ballot stations. It's fucked up, man. I was the third person to vote this morning. Then I was the 10th person to vote as well. I know what you're thinking. Voter fraud. However, I did one for each major candidate. All good. Oh, thank God. Yeah. If you vote for each candidate illegally, then it cancels itself out.
Assume more than just this year.
Oh, over 25 years.
And so when you see them out there like this, how does it make you feel?
Happy.
Do you feel happy?
I'm happy that the young folks, the young students, not that just only senior citizens, but students come in and exercise their right to vote. We have first-time voters,
yep.
And that's happy for me.
Renee, you having done this for so long and seen this city for so long, what's your message to people?
Point Crow says, I voted at every ballot box where the poll workers picking the votes up would have something to do. That's good. Yeah, give them something to do, honestly, because they're probably bored. They're probably bored all day, right? Like it's cool that we're all doing our own thing.
So the longer you stay out there, we're going to make sure you're comfortable. We're going to make sure that we can get you in the correct lines. But
Renee, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. And if you need anything, I'll be here all night too, okay? Thank you very much. Guys, back to you.
Okay,
Thanks,
can we
Renee.
just say we love Renee, that
You're
this
great.
is what, this is, you said salt
They
of
love
the
you.
earth, Governor. These folks who work in those places, they believe in democracy, and I'm going to get in trouble, but I have to ask you, Cornell, I'm seeing a confluence of things. The young voter organizing group, right? And they're out there, and the young people who are saying,
If you're eligible to vote, is this your first time voting? New poll in the chat.
Dylan on Morning Joe this morning, and she said,
New poll in the chat. If you're eligible to subscribe, why haven't you used your Twitch Prime yet at the Hasanabi broadcast to support the broadcast? Twitch Prime is free. Or a $6 a month subscription as well. That's another poll, except that's not a poll. I'm just saying that.
it feels like it's a little crazy.
You got it. Yeah. Well, it is a
Holy
little crazy.
fuck.
And that's-
So many people
and that's
said
sort of
they're
ground
old as
operations.
fuck
And
and
it
have
is-
been
it's getting
voting.
out there, it's touching people, it's going neighbor to neighbor, it's going neighborhood by neighborhood and pulling out people and
Here.
then getting them getting them online. But again, folks,
Every time people subscribe in a mass blast, I have to do this now, okay? There's nothing else I can do. Ugh. I have to slub myself out.
I mean,
situation
you
is
talk about
dire.
fair. I mean, they're not leaning one way or another. You hear people say, "Oh, the media, they're always covering this side." It's been really, really impressive. I hope they can keep it up.
Thank you. We applaud them. Love to hear that. Okay, still ahead. New Jersey's governor, Senator Cory Booker, one of Vice President Harris's closest friends in the Senate. So what's his read on this race? We'll ask him when we're back in 90 seconds.
Nah, I'm good, fam. Don't want to hear from Cory.
Of the enthusiasm with that base voter, not just the independents, but the base voter, and the fact that in a place like New Hampshire, as you brought up, J.D. Vance came here on one of the last days. That means Trump's internal numbers see that they have a shot here. Kamala kept spending millions and millions and millions of dollars in New Hampshire, which means she knew she didn't have it wrapped up. So those types of things are, I think, are really leading more towards a Trump win. But this thing's, I think it's going to be contested. I'd be shocked if we had a clear winner tonight. I think there's going to be a lot of, you don't hire 5,000 lawyers and send them home the same night. They're going to earn their money one way or the other. But we'll get a winner eventually. It'll be a little bit bumpy with some recounts, but we're going to get a winner.
Well, let's see. I mean, and it's amazing. You know, you look at what you're talking about, then that poll in Iowa, and hey, people can be forgiven for having whiplash on what the heck is really going on. Guess that's what you like when it's your birthday. Happy birthday there, Governor.
Thank you. We're not talking about that. At this age, we just ignore those days. It's election day.
All right. Thanks. All right. Let's go to Phil Mattingly at the Magic Wall. Closer look at the Granite State. Phil, you just heard the case made by Chris Sununu, who obviously is voting for Trump. But, you know, Dixville Notch is all we've got right now. Honestly, for 12 hours, it's like all we've got, 6 votes.
Yeah, look, I get the urge to take any piece of actual real-time data and try and explain what's happening for the rest of the country. And I have a lot of respect for the governor and his understanding of the state. I would caution people, Dixville Notch, not exactly the harbinger of what is going to come, although it is always an interesting color story. Look, this is the map right now as it currently stands. As the governor was laying out, 3-3, there's going to be a lot more vote. I think the real question right now, and I think a lot of us were thinking this when J.D. Vance was sent to the state a couple of days ago, was Republicans have long looked at this, particularly back in 2016, and said, this is one of those places that Democrats, with the exception of Governor Sununu, tend to win statewide that we feel like in a presidential year we've got a real shot at. What happened in 2020, I think, made a lot of people inside the Trump operation say, probably not this year, maybe not this cycle. In 2020, Joe Biden won it by 59,000 votes, won it by a pretty handy margin, by more than 7 points. And that was also the same exact year that the individual you were just talking to, Governor Sununu, absolutely crushed his Democratic opponent in the state. I think what's interesting as you kind of tick through here, and actually, if Mowers is sitting there up there with you still, he understands the state as well as anybody running Governor Christie's operation up there in the 16 campaign, also running for Congress himself, is what you looked at what changed in 2020 from 2016 when Hillary Clinton won by a much narrower margin, is where are the counties that Joe Biden did better in? A lot of these counties, Mowers is going to correct me if you do talk to him.
Oh, dude, that's funny. Nevada Secretary of State seeing high number of rejected ballots in Clark and Washoe says one of the biggest issues is that the signatures of younger voters don't always match what's on their driver's licenses. It's mostly the fact that young people don't have signatures these days. And when they did register to vote through the automatic voter registration process, they signed a digital pad at the DMV, and that became their license signature. This is why cross-check, like signature check, for example, is yet another measure that is used to suppress voter turnout, used to suppress voters in general. This is some of the many different things that we talk about here on the broadcast in terms of like how how throughout history the voter turnout has been suppressed effectively through these sorts of measures. One of the easiest, one of the most immediate ways in which voter turnout is deliberately suppressed is that you vote on a fucking Tuesday. It's a work day. It's not a federal holiday. Okay. So that's something to always consider. This is part of the reason why I always say in order to captivate and in order to draw turnout from the base of support from younger voters, for example, you have to go extra hard. You have to give them something to vote for. Okay? You have to actively push because there are a lot of hurdles in this process, unnecessary hurdles in this process. And if you're not feeling it, you're going to be a part of the plurality that often simply doesn't vote at all. Mark Cuban stole my take, by the way. I think we're seeing a flip-flop from where things were in 2016, where Trump voters were a shy voter who didn't speak to polls or didn't speak out, particularly on social media, to the Harris voters being shy. Cuban argues the vitriol online towards Harris voters, partly driven by Elon Musk's push of Twitter towards the right, has forced a lot of Harris supporters to become shy voters and shy communicators. This is Mark Cuban, billionaire, stealing the Hasanabi take. I told you, watch this space. There's going to be, if I am correct, if my prediction is correct, and there is a Kamala Harris victory tonight or tomorrow, okay? I'm telling you right now, articles will be written about the shy Harris voter. Anyway, Cuban elaborated on the mistake he made when he told ABC's The View that former President Donald Trump doesn't have strong, intelligent women around him. I made a mistake. I was talking about Nikki Haley. And, you know, I wasn't as clear as I needed to be, obviously. And look, Mark Cuban, shut the fuck up. Who cares, dude? Who cares? Yes, Donald Trump does not have intelligent women around him. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what is this? Donald Trump doesn't have anyone intelligent around him. The only principle for being around Donald Trump is if you're pro Donald Trump unconditionally. That's it. What a fucking stupid thing to argue over. I wish people would just be more honest about what they truly believe. Okay? Like, it's very frustrating to constantly watch these people just like backtrack from like very normal positions. Like, it frustrates me. Okay? Hard to disagree. The brainworm is pretty smart. Yeah. In my opinion, the main reason for democracy is to prevent war. Which candidate do you think is a greater war deterrent and why? Neither. We're talking about America. There is no candidate that is anti-war. You need to vote illegally at a different country's elections if you want to fucking prevent war, okay? I would go so far as to say there is virtually no fucking leadership around the world that is anti-war unconditionally. Very few. What is Harris going to accomplish with the Republican Senate? Many people think she's going to get elected and just bring back federal abortion rights, but that definitely won't happen for at least 2 years of the projected Senate. Yes, we shall see. We shall see what happens. I haven't even considered like the next steps yet because I have been more worried about the immediate consequences of like a potential marginal Kamala Harris victory. And what that will do to all of the fucking hogs. Like, I think that at this point, the truth genuinely doesn't matter for a lot of people. I think that they're just like operating on their own personal vibes. This is funny. 99% of FaZe Clan will be voting for Donald Trump today. 50% of the people in this pick aren't. I don't think 99% of FaZe Clan will be voting for Donald Trump today. But you know, it's a hard day for me to raise my FaZe flag up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still phasing up. But it's at half mast today. I'll tell you that much. I'm phasing up half mast. And also, I think 50% of FaZe most likely will be voting for Kamala Harris, and the other 50% is thinking that they can vote tomorrow. The other 50% that's not voting for Kamala Harris is thinking, oh yeah, you know, we'll vote tomorrow, right? That's fine. Shh, don't correct them. Should have made an ad about your vote being a secret for the FaZe Clan. Kai thought the election was on the 8th. That's hilarious. Okay. Man arrested at U.S. Capitol with torch, flare gun, Capitol Police say. This guy was trying to do a January 6th by himself. Congratulations. He was like, I thought I got the date wrong. Wait a minute. He was doing a solo raid. Extra difficulty mode. All right. One other wonderful thing to do is to understand like the vibes of the other side. It's always good to hear from like Fox News and how they're interpreting the situation. I predict that they're not super excited at the prospect of like a lot of young people going out and voting. What the fuck? Did she just put up her phone to show that she wasn't even talking to someone on the phone?
Night after midnight in that big rally in Philadelphia.
Is that a fake phone call?
It looks like she's making a phone call herself. Let's listen in.
Bro! No, she's not on FaceTime. She probably accidentally opened up her camera, okay? It's funny, though. God, we are living in fucking Veep world. I swear to God. This is like verbatim, 1-to-1 Veep. If you want to understand what is happening in the United States of America, it's Veep, okay? We are straight up in Veep.
Thank you so very much. You know, it's so important that everybody participates, and I thank you because
this election matters to the world. Maybe unlike an American election for a generation, it's not just a difference in styles between President Trump, former President Trump, and Vice President Harris. She, of course, a West Coast lawyer. He very transactional in his foreign affairs. We know that from his last administration. But as you mentioned, it's about what's going on in the world. It's about the conflict here in the Middle East, the conflict in Ukraine. We saw in 2019 Kim Jong-un.
I don't think she's lying. I don't think she's faking a phone call, chat. I think that she probably is on a phone call and accidentally turned on the camera. It happens to boomers usually. Okay, that's number one. And number two, it doesn't matter what the truth is because people will use that to be like, see, Kamala Harris is so fake. Anyway, let's look at Trump hitting 3 battleground states in his final push.
Rachel Scott is here with the latest on the Trump campaign. Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, Michael, good morning. And this has been a campaign unlike any other. Donald Trump launched his third bid for the White House 720 days ago. A twice impeached former president who was convicted of a crime and survived 2 attempted assassinations. His closing message has been dark.
Bleep bloops. Thank you for the 20 gifted subs.
On that one key question, whether Americans are better now than they were 4 years ago. Overnight in Grand Rapids, Donald Trump holding the final campaign rally of his 2-year-long bid for president, urging voters in battleground Michigan to turn out.
November 5th, today.
They're flexing for the gifted subs.
Will be the most important day in the history of our country.
I feel like I'm gonna flex too much today.
Midnight and speaking until after 2 a.m.
With your vote tomorrow, we can fix every single problem our country faces and lead America, indeed the world, to new heights of glory.
His voice hoarse, his remarks at times rambling.
Longwell, thank you for the gifted
subs.
5
3 swing
gifted.
states in just one day. Trump repeatedly turning to personal insults.
He's gonna fix every single problem, dude. You got an issue with your neighbor? I'll fix it. I'm gonna deport your neighbor.
And dark rhetoric in his closing message, even referring to Nancy Pelosi, the first female House Speaker in U.S. history, with an expletive.
She's a crooked person. She is a bad person. Evil. She's an evil, sick, crazy. It starts with a...
Dude. This right here, fucking awesome. Republicans tried to cry that Joe Biden called them garbage. Donald Trump has never, garbage would be a kind thing that Donald Trump would refer to the Democratic Party as. Okay? It would be nicer than what he normally says. This is why, as soon as I fucking heard the fake, cynical cry bullying coming from the Republicans, I was like, nope. Do not concede on this shit, okay? If you are tuning in right now and you don't really pay attention to a lot of this stuff, never get lost in the fucking sauce. When Republicans try to cry bully and say, ooh, I can't believe you called this garbage. How dare you do that? Be like, I'm sorry. You're literally wearing a fucking t-shirt that says you want to kill Joe Biden. I can't have this conversation with you, okay? Seriously, you're a garbage person. It's fucking bullshit.
But I won't say it. I want to say it.
The former president casting doubt on the outcome before votes are even counted by once again spreading false claims about election integrity, placing the blame on his supporters if he loses.
No, all we have to do, if we get out our people, it's over. There's nothing they can do about it. It's nice when you have that, right? You know? In other words, to make you feel a little guilty, we would only have you to blame.
Trump leaned into anti-immigrant rhetoric, pledging mass deportations, calling the U.S. an occupied country.
The day I take the oath of office, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. It begins immediately. The United States is now an occupied country.
At his rally in Pennsylvania, the former president called some undocumented immigrants nasty people, floating the idea of migrants having their own fighting league.
I want the migrant.
Yeah, also, migrants having their own fighting league is just called the UFC. Like, the fuck? Album Films, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Crispy, thank you for the 5 gifted. That's what it is.
The champion, and I think the migrant might actually win. That's how nasty some of these guys are.
And at one point, Trump suggesting boxer Mike Tyson should get in the ring with Vice President Kamala Harris.
Mike's been through a lot, but he could fight. Let me tell you, that guy could fight. But can you imagine Mike? Oh, he says, put Mike in the ring with Kamala. That would be interesting.
Bleep bloops. Thank you for the 20 gifted.
In recent weeks, Trump trying to appeal to young male voters, doing a
Font
series
forward,
of
thank you for the
interviews
10
on
gifted.
podcasts, and overnight netting a big endorsement from one of the most popular podcast hosts in the country, Joe Rogan.
I just want to thank Joe Rogan. That's fantastic.
This is so fucking lame, dude. Like, you're the goddamn president, dog. You're like, you were the president. You're the, God. I have so many opinions on the Joe Rogan endorsement. Holy shit. First of all, least shocking endorsement of all time. Okay. Absolutely least shocking endorsement of all time. COVID broke his fucking brain. He went into when he left and packed up and moved to Austin, and then COVID fucking broke his brain. He became obviously an overtly right-wing person. He was so right-wing. He was talking about DeSantis being a good governor, okay? Like, sounds like you're upset they didn't seek your podcast endorsement. I know. The Fear and is a unique podcast because we are a cooperative corporation, as in every single person has one vote, and revenues distributed evenly amongst every single person, including March, who is our producer. And we had a lot of back and forth at the Fear End podcast on who to endorse openly. And unfortunately, we couldn't come to a democratic conclusion. I won't say who was invested in a Trump victory, but the answer might shock you.
Trump's campaign needs to win over female voters, too, where polls show Harris has an edge. At that rally in Pennsylvania, the crowd positioned behind him, largely female, holding pink signs reading, "Women for Trump." The Harris campaign has seized on the former president's comments that he will protect women whether they like it or not, and Trump's own statements that he would put Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has pushed a range of conspiracy theories, in charge of women's health.
Oh, Bobby, you got to do one thing, do whatever you want. You just go ahead. Work on the pesticides, work on making the women's health. He's so into women's health. He's really unbelievable. It's such a passion.
So the campaigning is over. Donald Trump will cast his own ballot in Palm Beach before holding an election night watch party there later this evening.
And what can you tell us about the mood inside the Trump campaign, Rachel?
Yeah, look, this is a campaign. They feel very confident about how far they've come
thank you for the 5
after
gifted.
the indictments, after the conviction. This is a Republican Party that has rallied behind the former president. And there's no doubt he's been campaigning very hard, blitzing those battleground states. They feel good about what they're seeing in the early voting numbers. But there has been a vibe shift in the last week, starting with that rally at Madison Square Garden, those disparaging comments that speaker made about Puerto Rico, comparing it to an island of garbage. Donald Trump's violent and dark rhetoric
Tally
about
White.
Liz Cheney. Even this week suggesting that reporters could be shot at his rally. There are Republicans out there that are asking, is this really the closing message that seals the deal?
All right, we'll see. And we will see you throughout the morning.
Tim
Rachel. Thank you very
2077.
Hey
Bill
guys,
Laser.
I'm here with some businessmen.
Thank you for the 5
This
gifted.
gentleman, what's your name?
George McCool.
George sells medical devices. What is the
Oh,
economic
here we are. I feel like people wear their Sunday best and hit up the diners in swing states with the singular goal of being on television on election day. A month leading up to the election too. You go either to the barbershop, the one pro-Trump barbershop, or you go to the diner. If you're white, you go to the diner. If you're a black Trump supporter, you go to the barbershop. Okay? With the hopes that Fox News is going to come up and point a fucking microphone and a camera in your face, and you can say some of the most unhinged, idiotic shit you've ever heard.
environment been for you? Can you compare Kamala Harris's and Joe Biden's economy to the Trump economy for your specific business?
I think the price of everything has gone up dramatically over the last 4 years, and you can equate that to the price
Hasan's
of
new
fuel,
pharmacist, thank you for the 5 gifted. VSNXD, thank you for the 10 gifted. Camille Jordan, thank you for the 5.
With the transportation of things, and start to bring prices back down.
That's your top issue, the economy.
The economy's a top issue.
Another businessman
We
here
walk
has a print
banded.
shop. Tell me how the
Thank
economy
you for
has
the
been
10.
affecting you and your business.
Yeah, I think just the cost of goods has really gone through the roof. So the
New
cost of
poll
our shirts, the cost
in
of
the
buy our
chat.
shirts, it really gets to the point, how much can you charge for a T-shirt to your customers? So the cost of goods has really been going.
You're voting for Trump.
Dude, I love when motherfuckers talk about t-shirt prices, dude. Donald Trump's tariffs are going to cook you, okay? That's the only positive aspect of Donald Trump's mass tariffs is that every single one of these fucking t-shirt charlatans, every single one of these Trump merchandise businesses is going to be underwater. It is going to be insolvent in a matter of weeks, okay? That is the one positive aspect of Donald Trump's administration in a sea of horrifying consequences. That's the one silver lining in this process. Every single one of these dumb fucks are like, yeah, that's why I'm voting for Donald Trump, brother. Yeah, hell yeah, I love Donald Trump. He's going to fix the prices. He's going to do tariffs. It's like, you fucking idiot. You pay for the tariffs. You're so fucking stupid. China does not pay for the tariffs. Where are you getting your garments from? Where are you getting your garments from? You're not getting it like me from American-made, union-made shops. Ideology.shop, by the way. The election collection is still out and available if you would like to go check that out. Union-made, America-made, okay? All of these fucking dipshits get their garments directly from China. They don't realize that the way tariffs work, if Donald Trump slaps a tariff on all Chinese goods, their business is cooked. Their business is fucking cooked. They're so dumb. They're so stupid.
Trump?
I am voting for Trump.
You think it's going to turn around quickly?
Well, he was in office before. I think his economy was pretty good when he was in. So I think he'll do it again. Yeah.
All right, let's talk to these guys here because they say their top issue is the border. Tell me why.
We have young children, and every day you turn on the news and you see scary things happening, and it's happening everywhere in the country. So
This shit makes my fucking blood boil, dude. It's like, every day I see scary things happening. Oh, I heard the Venezuelans took over a goddamn apartment. I heard that Haitians are eating cats and dogs, and I'm terrified of it. I'm terrified of it. That's why I'm voting for Donald Trump. It's like, yeah, dude, not everything you see in the news is fucking real, okay? A lot of it, as a matter of fact, is wrong. You are being duped. All of these independent thinkers, all of these fucking supposed independent thinkers, these free thinkers are just like, turning on the TV and just being scared shitless about how every other place is bedlam. Not their neighborhood. Crime is on the rise everywhere, just not my neighborhood. That is the most consistent fucking take. If you listen to these guys, liberals and Republicans alike, they're always like, crime is out of control. Crime is out of control. And then when they're asked, like, where is the crime out of control? They're like, somewhere else. Not in my neighborhood. My neighborhood's fine. Okay. Immigrants, they're doing crazy crimes. They're doing crazy crimes. Where have you seen it? Have you seen it personally? No. Somewhere else. Have you met someone who you knew was an undocumented immigrant? No. Somewhere else. It's always somewhere else. Yeah, it's on television, dude. Crime is up. Crime is going up, but surely not in Texas or Florida. Yeah, I mean, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. That's why so many dumb fucks, for example, think that like the gun violence rate or the like violent crime rate is higher in a blue state like California than it is in a red state like South Carolina, for example. They're wrong. They're just wrong. And I remember in Oklahoma, they literally had this argument. I think it was the Senate race, or it might have been the gubernatorial race, where like the Democratic candidate was like, you know, like our rate of gun violence is like significantly higher than blue states, right? And he's like, look at this fucking idiot. Imagine saying that. And I couldn't believe it. Like it's just like, she's right. Like she's literally right. It just, it boggles the mind that people are so confident in their ignorance, so wrong, so consistently wrong. And then the crowd laughed at them too. The crowd laughed at the person saying like the correct thing. And the moderators didn't even fucking check it. Same energy as this.
So we had a bipartisan border bill that was going to put fentanyl detection and increase.
You mean the one about the $60 billion for Ukraine, $20 billion?
I love that. I love that because it was about Ukraine funding. Okay, but then what did they pass right after that? Ukraine funding.
Do you know how many they were still going to allow a day before they shut down the border? The bill said 2,000
and,
a day.
And?
How is that a border bill? That's not fixing it.
Because your entire thing is, well, they should be coming in legally. We should be able to vet them. They had a border bill where they said, okay, they're going to come in legally and we're going to vet them. And you're like, I don't want them to come in legally. I don't want to vet them.
The bill was allowing
2,000 people a day
into our country that is undocumented, that we don't know who they are yet.
Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about.
This is not just in Philadelphia.
Here, this is what's frustrating. Like,
was mocked after correctly claiming
Oklahoma Democrat mocked for rightly saying state has higher crime than New York and California. Okay, this was in the midterms. Okay, this was in the midterms. And I need you to understand that she is 100% factually correct when I tell you that it does not matter, like being right doesn't matter any longer for so many people. This is one of the million different reasons why I am a firm and committed believer that the narrative is more important than the truth nowadays, okay?
that violent crime rates are higher in Oklahoma than they are in New York and California. Take a look at this.
So let's talk about the facts. The fact is the rates of violent crime are higher in Oklahoma under your watch than in New York and California. That's a fact.
Well, we'll have that fact checked by the Frontier Superintendent.
It's also a fact.
They're like laughing. They're laughing.
That medical marijuana.
Oklahomans, do you believe we have higher crime than New York or California? That's what she just said.
Safety and security.
What do you do? What do you do? What do you do in this situation? What the fuck do you do in this situation, chat? He's wrong. She's right. And every single person's like, huh, look at this fucking dumbass claiming that Oklahoma's crime rate is higher than New York and California. That's not what the television told me. We are a stupid ass fucking country, dude. We are so fucking unbelievably dumb. Okay? We have purposefully made ourselves dumber. Okay? We have purposely made ourselves dumber. Television, social media, all this shit is just making people stupider and stupider as days go by.
Is my top priority, and it will be as governor.
Yeah, that is what.
Like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do in this situation? What do you do in the situation where, like, narrative is more important than the truth? What the fuck do you do? Yeah. The red state murder rate was 33% higher than the blue state murder rate in both 2021 and 2022, which is when the murder rate was actually skyrocketing. Will I get banned if I give a contrary opinion? No, of course not. As long as you're respectful. As long as you're respectful and not just saying like unhinged, insane, hateful shit, I'm not going to ban you. My two right-wing brothers moved out of California last year. Their ballots arrived at my mom's house because obviously they haven't re-registered, and she told me not to remind them to vote at all. Homo Sickle, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Like, this shit frustrates me to no end. Like, this is not a partisan thing, okay? I, as you guys probably know, have a lot of issues with both parties. Okay, obviously one is significantly worse than the other, but I'm very critical of both parties here. But I call balls as strikes. And this right here, like this idea, this way of operating is not a partisan problem at all. This transcends ideological boundaries. This is legitimately an overarching issue for the future of this country. And I don't think people are taking it seriously enough. Okay? And it's scary and it's frustrating.
She just said.
Yeah,
and
it's also right.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Kind of a boomer take. That's not, what are you saying? That's not a boomer take at all. Having half of the fucking country hallucinate an alternate reality is not, and how dangerous that is for the future of this country is not a fucking boomer take, brother. What are you talking about? It is genuinely a terrifying prospect for our future. Okay? Veritasium did a video about how political bias causes you to misread the data. What is this? The gun control question? I'll just do that. I'll start off with, instead of the skin cream.
If you look at the skin cream data again, but separate the participants by their self-reported political affiliations, so liberal Democrats versus conservative Republicans, there's
skin cream is the entire point. Okay, I'm not going to watch this whole video then right now. Maybe later. Oh, yeah. My mom claims to be pro-life, but is pro-gun, pro-deportation, and pro-Israel. How do I get her to see the hypocrisy? She's a ride or die Trumper, and I don't know if she'll listen to an empathetic approach you talk about often. I mean, some people are just gone, you know? There's not really much you can do. And I feel like if you're that invested at that point, like, I don't know if you'll ever be able to get her to change her perspective. A lot of people are just like firmly committed. And it's almost like cult deprogramming that you have to engage in. Like, there's, especially with Donald Trump, who is like a very charismatic figure for people that, you know, respond positively to his insane shit. I feel like I feel like some of these guys you're just not going to be able to save, you know?
A lot of anxiety, high anxiety on both sides right now.
Yeah, and soon we will know the answer. But I asked one Democratic strategist who has a lot of insight into the polls. I said, "What do you know?" And he said to me, "Do you want me to answer with my brain, my heart, or my PTSD trauma from 2016?" He said, "We really don't know yet. I think this is the time for Dan Rather. Well, tight as a tick was one. And then one source sent me this: we are nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs." Yeah. We will know in a couple of hours.
A lot of people are nervous right now. And Neil, let me get to you because, as you know, we're watching all of this unfold, but we don't really know who's going to win right now, do we?
No, we have no idea. I mean, this is one of the closest elections we've seen. You've seen these polls be tight as a tick down to the wire in these 7 battleground states. What's interesting is these candidates couldn't be more different. They closed in very different ways. Kamala Harris closed with an upbeat vision, and you had Donald Trump all about grievance and sort of talking down to Americans, being racist and sexist. And we'll see. I mean, I think one of the things that'll be interesting when we see these exit polls is the late decider.
You said don't watch the news and then you pull up CNN. Yes, brother. I look at Fox News as well. My entire job is to hold your hand through watching the news. That is what I do. I do commentary over the news. It's media literacy that I try to instill in people. Understanding where certain people's biases come from, certain outlets' biases come from, and why they cover certain things the way that they do.
20. But the question is going to be tonight is about whether or not Democrats are the underpolling of the abortion voters. Look, since the Dobbs decision, Democrats have been outseating expectations in the midterms and other special elections. Will that be the case tonight? And will that outpace the hidden Trump vote?
All right, guys, thank you very, very much. It's been a pleasure working with all of you all day. Appreciate it very much. And again, we're just about an hour away from the first exit poll data and 2 hours from the first poll closings. CNN's Election Night in America gets underway right now.
My dad showed me a screenshot of Charlie Kirk tweet saying 330 illegal immigrants in North Carolina were arrested for committing over 1,100 sexual assault crimes. I asked if he thought each one committed 4 each, and he said it's in their culture. Trump has ruined so many brains. Jesus fucking Christ, that is so insanely racist, dude. And not only is it insanely racist, but it's like seen as like a complete, like people are confident in being this overtly racist. As long as you say it about like an acceptable outgroup that has been dehumanized, like this monolithic force of undocumented migrants, you can just get away with saying whatever the fuck you want. The best example of this was when, you know, Trump and J.D. Vance and the entirety of the Republican Party and Elon Musk were running with this narrative that like Haitians are eating cats and dogs, right? Like they're eating people's domesticated pets and shit. Like it was so obviously insanely racist. Like you can't say that in broad daylight openly about black people, but when it's Haitian migrants who are here legally, by the way, they have temporary protected status. Trump also offered them TPS, for the record, just so you understand. Okay? But when you say that about like migrants, then there is a level of permissibility. Like you think, oh, I can get away with saying this shit. And I think that kind of permission structure that slowly but surely gives people more confidence to be openly, overtly racist is really damaging for political rhetoric in this country, for political discourse in general, for the future of this country and the way we analyze certain people and their humanity and refuse potentially to recognize their humanity. But beyond that, I think on the other side, on the flip side, I guess, there's hella people who see that, they hear that and they go, this is really fucked up, actually. And I think that is part of the reason why Donald Trump is not going to perform that well, because a lot of normal whites who might be racist themselves are hearing that sort of shit and going, that's a bridge too far. He's did it again. That's classic Trump.
Joe Biden won Pennsylvania, Kana, by about 80,000 votes. It's unclear if every single Nikki Haley voter would break for Donald Trump, but certainly, as Selena and you have noted, the Harris campaign has gone after those Nikki Haley, those moderate Republican voters, strong in the last few weeks of this race. It's just unclear if that's going to be enough to get them to break with their own party.
All right, that is very interesting, Selena and Jay. Our thanks to both of you. And what a day it certainly is. We want to take a close now look at voters in Arizona. This is a state where voters will decide if the right to abortion access should be enshrined in Arizona's constitution. It's one of 10 states with a ballot.
Yesterday, someone asked you a question saying that he was open-minded and he wanted to know why you didn't like Donald Trump. And I like the points you made, some of them comparing Hitler's original plans to that of Donald Trump's. Can you go over that list you gave again? I can't find it online. No, I can't go over it again, but my point is mass deportation and mass camps, like building concentration camps to engage in mass deportation of people living on U.S. soil that you consider to be undesirable is just straight Hitlerian policy. And Adolf Hitler himself originally did not arrive at the final solution, which was to execute 12 million plus people, 6 million Jews, until it became an economic problem from their perspective. The original plan for Adolf Hitler was the Madagascar plan, which was supposed to be mass deportation of Jews from Nazi Germany. Everything's a conspiracy when you don't know how things work. Breaking. Google shows a where to vote section with a map for Kamala Harris, but not for Donald Trump. Google's the biggest corporate donor. Are others seeing this too? Thanks for this. The where to vote panel is triggering for some specific searches because Harris is also the name of a county in Texas. Happens for Vance too because it's also the name of a county. Fix is coming. Note, very few people actually search for voting places this way. No, yeah, Trump is definitely losing the votes of average Republicans. My parents are former military, longstanding Republicans, but even they're appalled by this campaign and actions. He's just too crazy for the normies. Yeah. From U.S. News and World Report, arrest, non-credible threats, confusion, mapping election day in America. Several non-credible bomb threats briefly shut down voting at 2 polling stations just outside of Atlanta. Secretary of State of Georgia Brad Raffensperger told reporters the threats originated from Russia. They're up to mischief, it seems. They don't want us to have a smooth, fair, accurate election. 25-year-old poll worker in a key swing state was also arrested on November 4th after mailing a letter to the Jones County election superintendent threatening poll workers. A statement from the FBI said that the young man allegedly got into a verbal altercation with a voter and mailed a letter to the superintendent as a Jones County voter threatening to bomb and rage rape, among other things. A man was arrested in the Capitol Visitor Center screening process on November 5th, smelling like fuel and equipped with a torch and flare gun. The incident prompted Capitol Police to cancel tours for the day while an investigation begins. That might have been a self-immolation, to be fair, like a protest self-immolation, if they smelled like fuel as well. A man was arrested in Fowler, New York, near the Canadian border on November 5th after threatening to bring a gun or burn down a polling station. State police said the man who had previously been convicted of a felony became irate after being told he was ineligible to vote because he had not re-registered after being released from prison. He then threatened to return and fled, but was later picked up by the police. Charges are pending. Election-related incidents before November 5th. In Maryland, in Carroll County in Maryland, an election worker was followed by a poll watcher from a polling center to the election office on November 1st, but no contact was made. State Elections Administrator Jared DeMarinis decried the harassment, writing in a post on X, "I have absolutely zero tolerance for harassment or making threats against election officials." Florida, police in Jacksonville, Florida, arrested an 18-year-old male on October 31st for wielding a machete outside of a polling location in Neptune Beach. Officials said he was part of a group accused of intimidating Democratic supporters and was charged with aggravated assault. He was accused of pointing his weapon at 2 women for improperly displaying his weapon. South Carolina, another voter in Orangeburg, South Carolina, was caught on film on October 30th screaming at poll workers after being told he couldn't wear his Trump hat inside. That is illegal. It's called electioneering. For those of you who don't know, You cannot wear political merch when you go and vote at a voting station in the United States of America. He later threw the hat in the direction of the person filming and got into a physical altercation with the workers. We watched that video. In Texas, a voter wearing one of Trump's signature red hats punched a 69-year-old election worker in San Antonio, Texas on October 29th after being told to remove the hat because it violated prohibitions against wearing items endorsing candidates. Once again, electioneering laws. He later was arrested on felony charges of assaulting an elderly person, and the Behar County Sheriff said additional charges could be tacked on. Oregon and Washington. Police in Portland, Oregon, responded to a fire on October 28th, saying that they say it was started by an incendiary device placed inside of a drop box for election ballots. Authorities said only 3 ballots were damaged due to the internal fire suppression system kicking in. Another drop box, this one in Vancouver, Washington, was set on fire several hours later, and hundreds of ballots were damaged due to a fire suppression system in the box failing. The incidents were connected to a third fire, also in Vancouver, on October 8th, authorities said. And the man suspected of causing fires is an experienced metal worker and is believed to be planning additional attacks. Arizona, a U.S. Postal Service mail box in Phoenix, Arizona, was set on fire on October 24th, damaging several ballots and other pieces of mail. A 35-year-old man was arrested and admitted to committing arson, but said it was unrelated to the election. So, how are we getting here? How do we get here? Why is this happening? Well, I can tell you why. This is what the fuck happens when we completely normalize this sort of behavior, and that we act as though the people that are like fantasizing about an alternative reality are actually valid.